welcome to the library and all the good things to read. My name is Suzanne Moore. I'm the county librarian.
And I'm Marilyn Tugman. I do adult services around here, and we're going to talk about some books.
We love to read everything and talk about everything that's out there, but we're just going to highlight for you today some of the special book club films, programs that are coming up. We want to start with Winston Churchill. This film, The Darkest Hour, will be released, it's already released. It's going to be on our screen January the 4th. This Saturday at 1 o'clock. We have a film series called Keeping It Real. So we're going to learn all about The Darkest Hour, which was kind of the way Churchill would describe the early days of the war. And that's where the film got its title. This is a British biographical war drama, and it stars Gary Oldman as Winston Churchill in his early days of Prime Minister in the United Kingdom during the Second World War. It's May 1940, and things are about to heat up with the Germans. The Nazis are trying to invade, so Churchill steps right into place. Formerly, they had Neville Chamberlain was the prime minister, but he didn't have aggressive enough attack on Germany, and so they felt like he wasn't suited for leadership at that point in time. So he stepped down, and then Churchill filled his shoes.
Well, the other cool thing, that's an excellent movie, y'all. It's got his wife in it. It's got his secretary in it. There's he actually bugs out of his limousine and gets on the subway. That's one of the best scenes in the whole movie. Where he's talking to people and he's finding out London's already being bombed.
Right.
And he's got to keep morale up. He's got to do what his
I didn't know all these things. I've known bits and pieces about Churchill, but recently that Netflix has released the war years, and so that documentary got me going. And the reason why we're reading and we're watching this film, we're also going to read a book about him as well. But it's just amazing. At the beginning of the documentary, I learned a fact. I have to spell this out. They say that Winston has written 6 million words, which is more than Dickens and Shakespeare put together.
Wow. And
5 million of those words were speeches that he spoke. I did not know that. And then I watched the documentary and I was like, oh my gosh, he's a new favorite political
World War II would have turned out a totally different way if he hadn't been the man he was and if Roosevelt hadn't been who he was.
He's gruff and he's a crusty old soul, but he's got a sense of humor and a great leader. I really enjoyed this film, so I hope you can come out for that. And as I mentioned,
it's this Saturday, 1 o'clock.
Thank you. That's right. Don't forget, save the date, come and see us. I do want to say that we always read a book at the branch library, and I lead the book club out there. We call it the Reading Trap, that kind of relates to what we watch on the screen. And we always pick the book in connection to the author's birthday. And all of the books for this month are currently checked out, but we have others on the way. And if you haven't gotten a copy yet, we can get you one. But I do want to share that the Reading Trap has a new brochure, or booklet actually, for the year 2025.
Yeah.
And you can pick one of these up if you are an avid reader and you would like to see what's going on for the year. We have a booklet if you want to join our book club. The Reading Trap does meet at the branch library every second Thursday at noon. And we have great conversation, and we do it at noon so we can eat. We like to eat. And we'll probably have some British dish, something that Churchill liked to eat while we're talking about his book. But in the meanwhile, if you just want a quick overview, we do have a brochure for the year on what's to come with the Reading Trap, the conversation about the books that we'll be discussing in the new year. All of these are chosen to celebrate the literary birthdays of the authors. And now I'm going to kick it over to Marlene because she's got a book club right after the Reading Trap meets. We have...
So Reading Trap's the second Thursday at noon.
At 9, January the 9th.
Okay, January the 9th. The next day, the 10th, the Talking Service Book Club will meet downstairs in the meeting room at 10 o'clock in the morning. And we read articles usually out of this book right here, which is it's nice and thick, but it's also 40 separate articles, and they have to do standing down from warrior to civilian, and it's about your transition from being an active soldier to being a veteran.
Mm-hmm.
And so everyone is invited to our book discussion too. There's less reading and more discussion, and that's the way it usually falls. But we've got a good little group going. I'd like to invite you to come because you can catch up rather quickly, and it never ceases to amaze me. I am not a veteran. Lots of them in my family, and a lot of them in everybody's family in Wilkes County, it seems like. But you're welcome to come and just talk about these kind of subjects. The story, this one for January, is called The Boy Without a Flag, and it's by Abraham Rodriguez Jr. And it is, here's a little sentence. It's just talking about a kid in New York City. And in New York City, he's a student, and it's got a lot of humor in it. He's talking about his teacher that wears pink tights.
What year is it? Is it?
It's more modern.
That's a modern story. Okay, pink tights made me think.
Yeah, Abraham was born 1961.
Okay, so he's
but he's Puerto Rican heritage as well as American, and his family has kind of a mixed opinion about how things are going in the United States, but it's definitely better than where they came from. And so it's got some Puerto Rican aspects to it, and I was going to say, and it's got real moments in history that he brings up, but he was talking about the changing attitudes toward the flag and how the flag is a symbol, and we've had some of that recently. You've seen sporting figures that have mixed opinions about the flag. They don't mean to disrespect America, they just mean to say, let's pay attention to what we're trying to say. And
it'll be a lively conversation.
Yeah. So he said it will be, because veterans tend to be extremely patriotic.
Definitely.
But even the ones that I know that came back from Vietnam, they didn't get a good reception. At the end of World War II, ticker tape parades.
Right.
Lots of kissing in the streets, right? But not Vietnam. They would literally go to the bathroom on the plane and get out of uniform because they didn't want to be protested. But anyway, this is only 18 little pages. It's a great story. And then, let me tell you, when we move along, once in a blue moon, I'll throw in something different. And we were talking, Gary Paulson was one of our book club choices back in last summer, but he also wrote this nice little story about a Civil War soldier called A Soldier's Heart. And it says, being the story of the enlistment and due service of the boy, Charlie Goddard, in the first Minnesota Volunteers. So, short little book. This is what we're going to be reading for February, and by next Friday I'm going to have a big handful of them. But you're welcome to read this, and by the way, our copies of Standing Down, we've got copies of this book ready to give you. All you have to do is make a little promise to me that you'll show up every now and then. That's all. And then I'll be glad to give you one. The stories inside are excellent. I mean, really, really good. Okay, now, moving along from Talking Service Book Club, next meeting's January the 10th, a Friday at 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So the next thing is we've got the Library Book Club. I just call it that because in Wilkes County there are a lot of adult reading book clubs. And they meet in people's homes. They meet at the garden club. They meet at different places. But here at the library, we meet on the third Tuesdays at 4 o'clock. And that's been a faithful thing. I'm going on the 12th year of that. In January, on the 21st, we're going to read The Midnight Library, or talk about it. I've got copies now if you want one. And The Midnight Library, it's a recent book. Well, I say recent, but published in 2020. And have you ever wanted a do-over? I mean, a real do-over? So the main character in this, her name's Nora, and she is suicidal. She thinks that there's nothing that she can do. And what happens is she goes to this mystical place called the Midnight Library. and she's guided there by an old librarian figure that she liked a whole lot in her past when she was a girl. And so on the books shelves in the Midnight Library are what would have happened had you made a different decision. So she gets the chance to see what life would have been like if she'd been, a rock star, or gone to live in, what was it, Australia? Yeah. Or just had a different life. So I've got one quote. There was let me find it here, a very negative review on Goodreads. And Goodreads is just out there. Goodreads can be anything. So it's kind of fun to just see what they say. But this one woman, and by the way, Matt Haig, the author of this, he writes all different kinds of things, and he is a sociologist, psychologist kind of dude, and he's wrote a book, a really sweet book that is helpful for people who are going through illnesses and hard times. It's called The Comfort Book, and I've bought that, and this is like, but here, get this. The reviewer says, I liked this book until it suddenly decided to moonlight as a self-help manual. And then she goes on. But it's fun because it's a long review and she pulled out a lot of quotes. So here we go. And she said, these messages have the subtlety of a sledgehammer. No, it's not that bad. But here we go.
That's what's a cool thing about a book club conversation. You don't always have to agree on what you like or
If everybody agrees on the book, what are you going to fuss about?
It's really, it's really neat to hear the contrasting opinions about what you think compared to what other people think in the story. Okay. So give us a quote.
Okay, this is a quote from the book. She didn't need a vineyard or a Californian sunset to be happy. She didn't even need a large house and the perfect family. She just needed potential. And she was nothing if not potential. She wondered why she'd never seen it before. So Nora just has a second chance. Wow. And a third chance and a fourth chance. But when she makes a choice to continue on with the life she has, was that a spoiler? But she got to try on things.
Okay, well.
Okay. But
come
anyway,
find out about it and read.
Yeah, I mean, even so, get to know Nora because she's an interesting character. And this book was on the bestseller list for a pretty long time.
It's like a little award on there.
Yeah, Good Morning America Book Club.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, good story. And then we're going to make a selection or two for February having to do with Black History Month. And last year we had the best time because we read A Color Purple together. And it was wonderful. The discussion was great. Okay, that's at 4 o'clock on January 21st. At 2 o'clock on January 21st, we have been invited to participate with, there's a group called Road Scholars. And what they are, they're guest speakers. And sometimes they'll come in person, and sometimes, but we have signed up to participate with them on a live stream. It'll be a video that has an expert that can explain what something fun. It's like going to class for 1 hour. That's what it is. But it's a great class with no homework. Okay, no homework. And the first one is called El Divino, Michelangelo and the High Renaissance. Michelangelo did a lot. So this expert is Matt, I should have practiced this, Palczynski. He's a PhD and an art historian. And so he's going to be live with us, even though we're going to be watching him on a screen downstairs in the meeting room at 2 o'clock on the 21st. We'll be able to chat with him. I mean, they usually have a moderator. This is kind of like when we participate in NC Reads, which is a statewide book club. And we are signed up to do that again, but I don't have dates. But we're going to read 5 books through NC Reads and the Humanities Council. But this Road Scholar, it's 5 lectures. The first one's about Michelangelo. We've got posters up where we've signed up for the other ones. But they're usually on a Monday or a Tuesday, usually at 1 or 2 o'clock. So if you can take your lunch then, or come and join us.
Come and join us. We don't mind you eating in the program. We'll
no,
probably
not at
have some
all.
snacks anyway.
Yeah.
Come out and visit for sure.
Okay.
You know what I just thought of? How one topic or book will spearhead to or jump off to another. Just this morning, I was catching a little bit of Mark Twain in his documentary, and he had a book about travels abroad, and he was talking about going to Italy and all the hubbub about Michelangelo. Everything was Michelangelo. They love him so much. He's like,
because he was a scientist as well as an artist.
Yeah, an architect.
And an inventor and all
he did
different kinds of
everything.
things.
So Mark Twain was like, Michelangelo. It just reminded me. They may have something to say about that in this lecture.
So let's recap our dates and times.
Let's recap. Okay, we start the month on January the 4th. We're going to start off with Keeping It Real, The Darkest Hour. We're going to meet out in the Branch Library on January the 9th at noon. Wait a minute.
And that's when you're going to talk about 4 days in London.
5 days in London.
I skipped a day. We can't do that.
Okay, 5 days in London. Here's the blurb. These 5 days, May 24th to May 28th, 1940, altered the course of history as the members of the British War Cabinet debated whether to negotiate with Hitler or to continue what became known as the Second World War. So, we're getting into all that to start the new year, which is interesting. It's fascinating. So, celebrating with January 4th at 1 o'clock, the film. January 9th at noon at the Branch, the book.
At Trap Hill.
Trap Hill, the reading trap.
Yes.
Pick up your information about the reading trap. Okay, you
Okay.
have your
and then we're
dates.
going the next day on January the 10th. That's when our Talking Service book club meets. You don't have to be a veteran. You have to just be interested in military topics, and it's really great. This one is told by a veteran, but it's a story about a teenager, and he's in high school, and it's a good story.
So that's the 10th at 10.
10th
Friday
at 10.
the 10th at 10.
Yes.
Okay.
And then on Tuesday the 21st, two things. The Rhodes Scholar lecture about Michelangelo is at 2 o'clock. The Midnight Library and Talking with the Library's Book Club, that's at 4 o'clock.
On the 21st.
Yes.
Okay, a couple of other highlights. Just quickly, I want
yeah.
to say our Youth Services Department has started a winter reading challenge. And this is a little bingo card where you have all sorts of little challenges that you can complete. You have to come in person and register to get your card and participate. The idea is that they'll inspire you to get out of your comfort zone or to look for kind of like a scavenger hunt to find something to read. For instance, read to a pet. You're going to have to get a pet. If you don't have a pet, we'll find one for you.
Or Pet Rock.
Yeah, Pet Rock will work. They're not going to hear much,
know.
but
There's plenty of pets out there.
there's some pets out there. But read to a pet, or read in your pajamas. Or my favorite here is read with a flashlight. Growing up, I was talking about Mom would say, "Get lights out." I pull out the flashlight.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good reading going on under the covers. But fill out your bingo card and get some cool prizes. Come by the children's department, pick this up through the month of January. It starts on it starts this month and it goes through the 27th. What were you going to say?
Okay. I was going to say, guess what the beginning age on this is?
Yeah, how is a
Isn't that
zero going to
cool?
read? Parents read to them.
Yes.
Parents
And
can do this.
that needs to happen, challenge or not.
Right.
That needs to happen all the time.
You read to
So,
your little ones.
Big old stack of picture books.
Yeah.
The one for every challenge. Have fun with this.
They're making
It's a lot
eye
of fun.
contact. They're learning the vocabulary. They're learning how books work at that little young age.
Yeah.
Even newborns can participate.
Yeah, little babies look at pages.
That's true.
They do.
All right. Now, I want to say, while we're talking about that challenge, I have my favorite thing of all is the annual reading log. And this is, you can pick one up in the library and you color in the books that you've read as you read them. See, the spines are blank. So you can write there on the spine, the Midnight Library.
Yeah.
You read
It's like the Midnight Library. One of my bad decisions was it should have said, go out with George Clooney. And it didn't happen for me. Oh, darn. But anyway,
Well, pick up your reading log. It's really fun to challenge yourself to read all year long. There's so many good books. There's not enough time to read them all.
Yeah.
So we try to fit them in.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a chilly winter. It's officially winter, so come. We've got your reading material right here.
Definitely. Nothing better than a cup of hot tea and a cat on your lap and a book to read. For me, anyway. Also, if you have a fear of fines or you've accumulated some fines and you feel like, oh, I don't, I have too many fines, I can't do
Or
any.
if you're staying away from the library because you owe us,
We don't want that.
we want to fix that.
Yeah, we want to
We are
help
all
you
about
out.
fixing that.
So this month, January 13th through the 18th, there's a week called the Food for Fines campaign. And what we're doing is we're forgiving $2 of every fine that you may, or of your fines, $2 of what you owe for a donation of a canned food item or even a boxed food item, something unperishable, unexpired food. Even pets need to eat.
even
So
pet
if you've
food.
got some cat food or dog food around the house to donate, we'll be collecting the food items and donating them to Samaritan's Kitchen. So come and reduce and get forgiveness for those fines.
Yeah.
And even if you don't have any fines, you want to support the food drive, we'll take donations that week to help those in the community.
Have we hit tonnage before? I think so.
We've had a lot of food collected in the past.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is an annual campaign and it's been real popular.
And then we get to be proud of our patrons because we
Yes.
always are.
Yeah, you gotta have food for your mind, like the books, but also food for your physical health. So this is a way to help combat food insecurity in our communities and keep on reading. They'll stop.